What's up? Checking out this new Italy logo, and oof, it's not great. So going into 2023 season, Italy will go from Puma to Adidas, and that's what we're looking at right now. So you could see the old one, which is beautiful, or the one that's still current, and then this new one, and I don't know. The first thing is like you're using a blue border on a shirt that is blue. I'm not sure what the thought process there was. It's going to look really odd clashing, especially if the jersey color does not match identically with that. On top of that, the stars are also blue. Not good. Um, Also, I just really like the old one. So I'm like, I get it. It's a little bit more modern, I suppose, where nothing is italicized, everything is boldface, and it kind of looks like a almost like a modern beer can, if you will, or like not a beer can, but maybe like an Italian liqueur. But maybe that's just style theme right now. But there's bigger problems for Italy than the logo, and hopefully that gets sorted out over time, and hopefully with Lorenzo Pellegrini, who maintains his place as a starter in that setup. And one of the problems is the coach, but I don't want to get off on a tangent about that so soon. So hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you guys are hanging in there. Ciao, Naveen. Hope everyone's taking it easy. I know that in Italy it's super hot, like super freaking hot. I think almost 35 degrees Celsius, which is like above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. For us Americans, we don't know Celsius, centimeters, or kilometers. But yeah, I was just spending some time out in my backyard, chilling, just taking it easy, trying to. Can be a beautiful month. Last June was terrible, but so far, this June in the New York area is pretty nice. So a lot of stuff going on recently in Serie. A lot of names being thrown around, as they always are. But instead of big names leaving Serie right now, we see that it's probably going to be Dybala staying within the league, although I'm not sure that that's best for him. We see Lukaku, who looks set to come back and dominate Serie A once again. Something like 30% of the goals he scored in his life have come in Serie A, and he was only in Serie A for, was it one season? I think just one season, which is insane because he dominated in that one, with Inter grabbing the Scudetto, and they paid for that this past season. You know, if they had him, they would have marched to it for sure if they had a real number 9 on that team. And Dybala, of course, it's still not met. It looks like there's some issues going on with the agent fee, and that they have asked for that to be reduced, for the commission to be a little bit lower. As you know, sometimes you see these agent fees, they get a little bit crazy. They really want to have their piece, wet their beak and get their piece of the pie, these agents. And they do work, they vouch for their players. But that's Inter's problem right now. I really feel like he's not, like, someone's just going to come in like a dark horse. Maybe I'm crazy, and this is probably not what the odd makers would say, but maybe like in the wake of Di Maria leaving PSG, he goes there. Who knows? They're adding Renato Sanchez right now at Milan target. We'll see where Sven Botman goes, a player who was constantly linked with Milan during the offseason. So they agreed personal terms, and now nothing. So crazier things have happened. Maybe Madrid on the right wing. I don't know. You never know. Atletico, what could happen with them? But as I look around things in Roma's hemisphere right now, I see a record-breaking season tickets being sold, something like 34,500, breaking the record or tying it, matching it from the 2004-05 season. So there's a lot of hype around the club right now, coming off the Conference League final, knowing that things really and feel positive around the club, that there is the project, that the Mourinho effect is in full swing, and this club is going to be really entertaining, and more so than that they're going to be winning next season. So the fans are really excited. And on top of that, you see that the Friedkins look to be buying up shares. And the one reason why they want to do that and get this delisted is so that they can have a little bit more autonomy, be able to hide a little bit more what they have, not hide, but keep it personal and not have to share everything the way that they do now because Roma is a publicly traded company. And this would definitely give them a little bit more leverage and privacy, I think is the word that I'm looking for there. So it's interesting to see what they're doing here. I keep shrugging my shoulders and saying, interesting. It's interesting. I gotta stop doing that. Anyway, that is pretty cool to see that they're taking this very seriously. I read the other day that they're trying to get Cannes in France, like Cannes Film Festival. Don't know if that's true or not, but it would be interesting. I also like the idea of B teams. I don't like how players go out on loan and then, well, maybe they come back and they do a good job. By that time, it's already too late, i.e. Lorenzo Pellegrini, Fratesi, who we're going to get to in a second. So I always feel like the B team or the affiliated club is a much more efficient way to handle those things. And as I move down my little chart here, and back to Fratesi, La Repubblica is reporting that Roma are going to raise their bid for him to Sassuolo for 15 million euros plus add-ons. And it seems like a solid number. On top of that, I want to know if Sassuolo are interested in Carlos Perez, perhaps, maybe Diawara, someone who could step in for them, play a good chunk of games for them. That could be something of potential, but these contrapartite, these like where you have one player plus cash, these types of deals have become a bit more rare in the past few years. I always laugh when I read, swap. Swaps rarely ever happen in football anymore. Particularly at the highest level. That's just not a thing which happens so much anymore. And I think about Fratesi and where he could play within Mourinho's setup, because there's not a player coming into this club unless the manager wants him. So where is he going to be playing? If it's a 4-2-3-1, I see him, of course, playing next to the true defensive midfielder and him acting more as this intermedio, the player who gets up and down the pitch, breaking quickly on the counters, getting in good positions to take a shot, adding to the attack in these very quick moments. Or do you see Mourinho employ a 4-3-3? And I think that would probably be his most natural position on the right in a 4-3-3 midfield. But then, maybe Roma doesn't take their foot off of the 3-5-2. Where does he slot in? To the Mkhitaryan role? I don't believe so. He's not. And I don't want to say he's not creative enough. He has some good skills and he can evade attackers, but he's not. I wouldn't say link-up play and offensive creativity is his strong suit. That would be another player, another type of player, if Mourinho sticks to the 3-5-2. But does he take on also like an intermedio role with someone a little bit deeper, where it essentially does become a three-man midfield? At that point, you have your true defensive midfielder, your intermedio, and then your short-range regista. I don't know. I don't think there's a name for that in like any language that I know of, because it's kind of like this hybrid position at this point, which was what Mkhitaryan was playing. Amouar, the player that was linked last week to Roma, I found really interesting. Algerian descent, French player, and he seemed to have such a fluid way to his play that I really liked. And of course, he's much younger. Another player who really excites me in the headlines right now is Guedes, Portuguese, 25-year-old. He's about 5'10" or 1.79 meters. So he's got a good size. To me, he looks maybe like underrated. I don't know what this guy's still doing at Valencia, but he has an interesting career where he started out at Benfica B, went to Benfica's first team before transferring to Paris Saint-Germain, and then he went on loan to Valencia, where he stayed, and I believe they spent something like 40 million euros for him. So this was not a small purchase by any means for Valencia, who typically don't spend cash like that. Short-range passing, moves off the ball, a real type of pass and move here. He has that long-range strike. He bursts with pace off of his first touch, a quality that I really like, especially when it comes time for counter-attacking football. He really seems to take it to the opponent once he gets that ball, and he can read the field and say that, oh, okay, I can manipulate this right now. He makes the intelligent passes in the final third, not over the top, not Neymar-esque, but a player who can roam around in that final third and make something happen pretty much from anywhere, once again with that long-range shot. So to me, he could be really, really a great player in Serie A, and maybe one who's gone under the radar in this Mercato so far. They've got Gattuso going into Valencia right now. In Guedes' conference or interview that he gave the other day, he didn't seem totally convinced, like, oh, if I'm staying or not. Whenever a player says something like, I got to really think about what's best for the team, well, when you say what's best for the team, it probably has to do with them gaining some money and moving on from him. So stuff to really consider there, but really like his profile so far. Another player from Lille, Selik, Turkish player, right back. Roma Things was mentioning, and he brought up some good points on Twitter, a graph which shows that he does contribute almost as much as Karsdorp offensively, but what Selik has in his arsenal is he's a very good defender. I also came across a quote, which I think in this morning, and like one of the radio guys in Rome mentioning that he's a player who's more adept at playing in the defensive three of a 3-5-2 on the right side. I'm not sure that's completely true, but at right back or right center back in the three, he definitely, from his highlights and what I've read, he's really highly rated, and he seems that really competent defender and someone who could really shore up the back line. And making Mourinho's defensive back line more rugged, more pragmatic, concentrated, truly is what's going to buy Roma success, and which will be the difference between another finish in 5th or 6th place versus getting into the Champions League. So it's something to really consider there. So those are Roma's transfers, like the big ones on the radar right now. What else did I want to talk about today? A little Formula One. If you were like me, you were watching Montreal on Sunday. It was a good race. It was a decent race. We see Leclerc get the penalty because Ferrari had swapped their engines. The engines just have been, problematic with them shutting off and the powertrains. So we see a new car. It looks really good. He starts, I believe, in P19 and works himself all the way up to 5th. It's 5th or 6th, if I'm not wrong here. And in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull's way ahead, 308 points. Ferrari trails behind, 228. And the drivers, they're stopping way ahead. Perez, 129, his teammate. And then Leclerc is 3rd, even though he's missed so many points right now, either from his fault, really, they're not. Almost none of these are his fault. And George Russell from Mercedes getting 111 in 4th. Incredible season for him so far. Late safety car. Looks like maybe Carlos Sainz is going to have an opportunity to pass Verstappen, but that Red Bull was just too quick. It pulled out of corners way too hard, and ultimately Verstappen comes away with some great driving. But Leclerc was driver of the day, as voted, and fastest lap was Carlos Sainz, 1:15.749 seconds. So it finishes Verstappen first, Sainz second, and Hamilton third. A respectable race for Hamilton as well. So I got to figure out when I'm going to approach these subjects. Like, when do I jump off of football for a second? But anyway, I think that going into July, we've got a week and a half more of the month. That things are going to keep heating up. There's going to be so many people trying to write things in the newspapers just to get clicks and links. We see even Cristiano Ronaldo, the bookmakers, is it practical that Ronaldo halves his salary and joins Roma? Well, maybe if it was a quarter of his 25 million euro salary. But to think that, no, I don't see it at all. I saw another crazy one, Neymar to Juventus. That would be insane. I don't think anybody aside from Juve fans would want that, because boy, he's dirty. He's lights out. Neymar's an incredible player, one of the best that I've seen in the past generation. He's got to be at least top 5, at least. So keep your eyes peeled on the news. Let me know what you think. Give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Pass this podcast on to any of your friends also who enjoy football. And we'll see what happens. I'll be in touch. I am going on vacation on Thursday. It's actually my honeymoon. Shout out to my bride, my wife, Ariella. Got in trouble last week for not mentioning her. So, hi, Ariella. if you're watching this. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.